You're not going to die from rheumatoid arthritis, but people do die from taking the drug that treats rheumatoid arthritis. You're not going to die from a migraine headache, but people do die from taking a drug to treat the migraine headache. You understand? Drugs are the problem. That's why they want to put me back in prison. I'm exposing what the pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know about.
This is the Kevin Trudeau Show.
I am exposing the corruption in government and in major multinational corporations. We're telling you the things that they don't want you to know that will make your life better.
Big Pharma traded principles for profits, hype fears, and exaggerated supposed benefits of their drugs. This article goes on to basically talk about how the U.S., not the U.S., but the major pharmaceutical companies hype fears. They get you afraid of diseases that you don't even have or symptoms you don't even have, and then exaggerate the benefits of their particular drugs without talking about all of the negative side effects, which are far outweigh any minor benefits you might get. This is a very, very solid article, which you'll never see. Bottom line, most drugs are terrible for you. The fact is, more people die by taking pharmaceutical drugs than from the diseases they're being used to treat. This is not a statement made by Kevin Trudeau. I am repeating a statement made by the American Medical Association, I believe it came out, where they said, the actual researchers themselves say that drugs kill more people. Taking a drug kills more people than the diseases those drugs are being used to treat. This is shocking, but it's true, because you're not going to die from eczema, but you are going to die, some people, from taking the drug that treats eczema. You're not going to die from rheumatoid arthritis, but people do die from taking the drug that treats rheumatoid arthritis. You're not going to die from a migraine headache, but people do die from taking a drug to treat the migraine headache. You understand? Drugs are the problem. That's why they want to put me back in prison. I'm exposing what the pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know about. Next, Acadia Healthcare is holding people against their will to maximize insurance payouts. Acadia Healthcare is one of the largest chains of psychiatric hospitals in the United States. And this is great. This is unbelievable. But this is absolutely, this is one flew over the cuckoo's nest, right? Remember that movie, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? This is beautiful. This is the best business model in the world. We get some wacky person who's a little bit, mentally unstable. They get taken into custody, like they're going to try to do with me on Friday. Taken into custody, and they get put into a psychiatric ward. Once you're in the psychiatric ward, most people don't know this, you can't get out. It's like Hotel California. You can check in, but you can't check out. So this healthcare, this is a great business. It's like, the guy checks in for a little psychiatric evaluation. It's like, well, we ain't letting the guy leave. We're going to keep him here, pump him full of drugs, keep charging his insurance company until we milk it for every penny they get. We're just keeping the person here. We'll do electric shock therapy. We'll do all types of stuff. I mean, this is a long article here. This is scary stuff. But this goes in the Kevin Was Right file. I promoted the book, Psychiatry, The Ultimate Betrayal. Talked about that, Kevin Was Right file. Next, the far-reaching ripple effects of the Discredited cancer study. A flawed study attracted grants in the tens of millions, investments, and other researchers who based new work on the faulty findings. This goes on to talk about how a cancer study was basically fake. I said this in the book Natural Cures, that most studies that the drug companies put out are false. They're misleading. They're fake. They're faked studies. And I showed you researchers from Harvard University that got convicted of falsifying the data and the records. There was a movie called The Fugitive. It was about this one specific thing, about a guy who was falsifying the research on a liver drug, Provasic, I think it was, the fictionalized drug in the movie. And the other doctor found out about it, and he was trying to they tried to kill him. Let me tell you something. You watch The Fugitive with Harrison Ford, and it is a fictionalized account of a true story. It's how it works. When you're talking billions of dollars, what's killing a couple people? Nothing. It happens. It's real. The drug companies will try to kill. I know. When somebody is saying something against the drug companies or somebody in power, your life is at risk all across the world. And this is another example. Kevin was right. Kevin was right again. Kevin was right again. Studies that come out are faked. There are researchers by the dozens who've been arrested and prosecuted for producing fake studies, which got drugs approved, by the way. And those drugs still are approved, even though they're approved based on fake studies, falsified data. Paid researchers, paid off, bribed to produce false studies. Grants are given based on false studies. It's all about the money. Ella McPherson says she was diagnosed with breast cancer 7 years ago and refused chemotherapy. Oh, she's alive and well and cancer-free. How is that possible? I mean, you have cancer, you need chemotherapy. The doctors say so. Kevin was right. Chemotherapy, here's the beautiful thing. Person has cancer. Listen, you're scared, you don't know what to do, I get it. So you go to a doctor and the doctor says, you need chemo. You're scared, you don't know what to do. And the doctor scares you even more. Says, if you don't do chemo, you're gonna die. You gotta do the chemo. So you don't know. So you take the chemo and then you die. 3 weeks into the treatment. And you know what the doctors say? They say, we did everything we could. We tried everything we could, but we couldn't save the patient. What they should say is the chemo killed the patient. But they don't say that. They say, we tried, we gave the chemo, we gave the radiation, we did everything, and we couldn't save him. But what really happened, but they refuse to tell you, is they won't say the treatment killed the patient. Now, if that same patient said, no, I'm not going to take the chemo, I'm going to do some natural therapy, and 3 weeks later the patient died, the medical community would say, we want to arrest everybody because they didn't do the chemo, and the natural treatment killed the patient. Do you see how that works? It's all about making sure that the drug companies and the pharmaceutical companies and the biotech companies keep the monopoly on all the money. Kevin was right, file. Honey might have an unexpected effect on this common type of cancer. This article talks about how honey, non-patentable, and I wrote this in my book, Natural Cures. What kind of honey? Manuka honey. Manuka honey affects cancer cells. It's a very specific kind of honey from New Zealand, and I'll tell you a funny story about Manuka honey. I was at a cigar lounge, and I went in, and I got a cigar, and I was going to clip the cigar, and I had this fancy cigar clipper, and I put the cigar in, and my thumb went in one of the holes, the cigar went in the other, and when I pulled the lever to clip the cigar, it clipped the cigar and also clipped off a part of my thumb. And blood went everywhere, and I'm like, oh my God. So I immediately grabbed some rags, and it's just blood everywhere. I mean, a big chunk of my thumb. And I think I chopped my thumb off. I'm devastated. Oh my God. So I hop in my car, I rush to the emergency room. I go, I'm bleeding. I think I'm gonna die. I'm bleeding, Come on in. So the doctor like, I don't want to look. Is my thumb still there? And the doctor's, yeah, you're okay. Am I gonna lose the thumb? No, you're okay, sir. You're okay. But it's bleeding. No, it's okay. So you have to stitch it. She goes, well, there's nothing to stitch. You got a big chunk of like a big V cut, so I can't stitch it, but I'll have to put it together. So she cleans it up and does her thing, and she's a medical doctor, surgeon, very, very professional. And I'm like, oh no, I can never be a doctor. I don't like blood. She says, okay, when you go home, I want you to redress this every day and put some bacitracin or neosporin on it. I said, let me ask you a question. I said, I've read some research that Manuka honey actually will heal a wound faster, like 3 or 4 or 5 times faster. I mean, way faster than bacitracin or neosporin. She looks around and she says, I can't tell you that. She goes, but you're right. She goes, I would use the Manuka honey. I go, wait a minute. Well, how come you didn't tell me that at the start? She goes, I'm a medical doctor. I don't want to lose my license. I can't tell you to use Manuka honey. I have to tell you to use bacitracin or neosporin. But what you just said is correct. The Manuka honey will heal it 5 times faster. Just put a little Manuka honey on every day. We'll be fine in like 3 or 4 days instead of like 3 or 4 weeks. I'm like, no, really? Yeah. So, which is, I did. So a week later, I went back in to see her. I goes, can you check on it? She goes, it's completely healed. She goes, see, you used the Manuka honey, right? She goes, it would never have been healed if you used bacitracin or neosporin. Kevin was right, file, but it also is very good for certain types of cancers. All right, Kevin was right, file again. Marketing firm admits using your own phone to listen in on your conversations. I said this 15 years ago on the Kevin Trudeau Show, that if you have a cell phone, which I have right here, okay, if you have a cell phone and it's on, everything's being recorded. The NSA in America, the National Security Agency, is recording it. The phone company is getting it. Marketing firms are getting it. Everything's being recorded. 100%. 100% being recorded. There's no privacy. If you have one of those Alexas in your house, you're being recorded 24/7. If you have your phone on at night, everything that goes on in the bedroom is being recorded. Your sexual, seriously. I mean, if you have any sexual fetishes or anything, whatever you say in there, it's being recorded. And now, look, we knew this years ago because the NSA admitted that they have it all, but we're not going to use it against anybody. No. We're looking for terrorists. We wouldn't do anything. Of course not. All right, this goes into Kevin was right file. Cannabis use linked to epigenetic changes. Hey, all pot smokers, I am not judging you. I am not critical of you. I am not telling you don't smoke pot, do smoke pot. I'm not saying anything. Do it. I believe in freedom, baby. Do what you want to do. Live your life. Live and let live. No problem. If you want to drink a bottle of scotch every night, as long as you don't hurt anybody, you're hurting yourself, but that's on you. I love you regardless. If you want to smoke dope every night, if you want to shoot up heroin every night, if you want to do mushrooms or this or that, I don't judge you, baby. I just love you. Okay? Unconditional, just pure love. If you ask me a question, Kevin, do you think there's anything wrong with smoking pot? Are you asking me? Well, I mean, for your health, it's probably better not to smoke it. For your enlightenment, if you want to get there, you're not going to get there by smoking. But if, maybe you just need to because you're in so much pain, I don't know, maybe you're trying to hide something. Look, I'm not judging you, but this study shows, and more keeps coming out, that marijuana use affects the DNA. It affects the epigenetics. It affects your DNA, which means your progeny, the children that you have, are also going to be adversely affected. It's incredibly negative. Everybody says, oh, there's nothing wrong. Look, when you drink alcohol, the liver metabolizes it, comes out. Is it better not to drink alcohol? Well, there's an argument, Maybe it's better not to drink it for health and so forth. But if you drink it, it at least gets metabolized by the liver. If you're smoking marijuana, it's staying in the fatty tissue. It's affecting the DNA. It's affecting your brain. It's affecting your cognitive ability. It's lowering your vibration. There's no long-term benefits of smoking marijuana at all. Only negative. But maybe you enjoy it. And you're trying to hide something. You're trying to mask something. You're trying to avoid some pain. Look, I'm not judging you. But at least be honest with yourself and saying, look, I know this is causing biological damage to my DNA, It's making my cognitive ability slow. It's limiting my ability to reach higher states of awareness and higher states of consciousness. If you at least understand it, but you still want to do it, no problem. But don't be delusional. Hi, I'm Kevin Trudeau. This is everything they don't want you to know about to improve the quality of your life. Broadcasting every Monday and Wednesday, 2 days a week now. Monday and Wednesday at 1 o'clock Chicago time. Make sure you tune in and subscribe to the channel and share these shows with everyone you know.